Intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Be up on your hot 3, 2, 1.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial, the Martin Houston Show fan page on Facebook. It is a beautiful Monday morning after a very rainy, windy, and in many ways disastrous weekend. And we want to send out our condolences to the local individual and the young person, 2 people losing their lives as a result of the storm in Tuscaloosa, and also lifting up the individuals from the 8 young people that lost their lives in the tragic, I think it was 17-car pileup down on the interstate and on 65, and anyone else impacted by the storm, the flash floods, etc. I want to lift them up and remember them and pray that recovery and grieving and all those things, that they have everything that they need. So let's remember them. And as we do that, let's remember that this is still a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it, and take some time today, even more so, to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. It is a beautiful, beautiful opportunity for us to do just that. Coming off of Father's Day, for those who may have missed the show on Friday, I wish you today a belated happy Father's Day. And we'll take a little time and maybe look at a few father-son combinations from the University of Alabama. As I was looking through that list, a lot more than I realized, and I played with a lot more of those guys than I realize as well. So we'll highlight those. We'll also talk about the Pac-12. The Pac-12, college football, talking about expanding to 12 teams, and the Pac-12 is trying to figure out how they can make sure that they're automatically a part of the playoffs. If you can't get in when the top 16, the top 6 highest rated conference champions, if you're one of the Pac-5, autonomous or Power 5, based on which way you want to say it, if you can't get in with that, you don't deserve to be in. So we'll talk about that as well, see what your thoughts are. Win totals coming out for the year: Alabama and Clemson sitting at 11.5 for the regular season. Alabama coming out in some places favored to win yet another national title. That back and forth between Saban and Dabo continues. About that, a thing that we brought it up last week, but we did not get into that conversation about my reason to think we need some additional scholarships, and we can talk about that the next. And I'm going to start the conversation off with Najee Harris. But before I do that, I want to remind you that you can be a part of the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business, and we'd love to talk with you about that. Anything that we've talked about, or you may have a different topic you want to bring up from this weekend sports activities. Maybe you're an NBA guy. I'm a playoff NBA guy. I don't watch a lot of the games until playoffs, but several great games this weekend, game 7s. And I know in baseball, Joe, us Alabama folk tend to claim the Braves. Do we claim the Hawks in basketball?
Oh, I certainly do not, but I also don't speak for the masses, so we'll have to see. Maybe get a larger sample size than just me.
So, but then do you claim the Braves as your baseball team?
No, Martin, I have a certain affinity for the Atlanta sports curse. So I enjoy watching the Hawks, the Falcons, the Braves get as close as they can to a championship, hopefully to let it slip away in dramatic fashion.
But you're from Georgia.
Okay, I still think it's one of the sports standards that you can always count on, and I just enjoy. Maybe it's a little sadistic, but people, oh, it's our year, and look, and then it just slips away, almost magically through their fingers.
Yeah. They're pretty consistent with that then. So you're getting your wish when if you're wishing for them. But yesterday, man, the Hawks took down the number one seed yesterday in the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid and Simmons. I don't know if you got well, you said you don't watch much of it, but it was an interesting process. They were down by 20 something points in game 6, and you're thinking it's pretty much over. When I say down 20 something, late in with 2 minutes to go, like in the third quarter, third period, they were down 24, I think. And they ended the game on a 14-0 run against the number one seed, and then of course that was at home, and then they went up to Philadelphia yesterday, and Jalen Hurts spotted on the side. It looked like Jalen Hurts. I didn't get a good shot of it, but Simeon was convinced it was him. Was spotted court side, but the 76ers dropped a big one, and then of course Trae Young is one of my least favorite players, but the kid, he's good. He's full of it, but he's good. And then of course, did you see the Nets and the Bucks?
I watched most of that game, and that was what a game 7 that was. Really entertaining, and to have Giannis go out and get it done, I think that was pretty impressive. That was a fun game on Saturday night.
Yeah, that was one of the. Whether you're a fan, I'm not a fan necessarily of either one of those guys. Either one of those teams necessarily, but being a fan of basketball, that was a really, really good game, and you saw what I call professionals battling it out with everything on the line, and they did some pretty awesome stuff. You kind of hated for Kevin Durant that he was the GOAT. Uh, at one point, the hero at one point, and then he, of course, ended up being the GOAT at the end in terms of what happened with him down the stretch. So where he missed that last shot, but wouldn't even been there if it wasn't for him. Played 53 minutes of the entirety of the game, never came off the court, and just didn't have the legs to get it done at the end. So either way, that was just an interesting sidebar. I do think we're witnessing the changing of the guards slowly in the NBA. At this point now, I think the only old hand, and he's not as old as the other guys, but he's right in that category with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, and of course LeBron's older than those guys. But the young guards are you're looking at who's going to be the next set of players, and of course this very few people even watch basketball, but anybody that's listening to the show know that I say I'm a basketball player trapped in a football player's body. So I love basketball, and I love the NBA when it gets to this point. I don't watch it during the regular season, but
Or do you think that going on that same thing? Do you think that Kyrie Irving should have tried to give the Nets 5 minutes? Especially when we get down to crunch time, go warm up a little bit with that. It's just a rolled ankle. You've had a couple days off.
Well, I would have been dressed out at worst case, Joe. It's the end of the season. You win and you get to advance. You lose and you go home. I would have been prepared to do. I would have been prepared to do something, at least to attempt to try. we saw that, what you're talking about. We saw that in Anthony Davis with the Lakers, right? And some people said that he made a mistake. He never should have did it. But, I give him kudos for he understands his body. He was going to give it a try. And they said that I don't know how medical people, I have to ask my daughter, who's an athletic trainer, how they assess, how they say, well, he really couldn't hurt it any more than it was already hurt, but he may not be able to play. And that's what they said about Anthony Davis. I'm with you. I mean, well, I guess I should say, are you thinking he should have, at least dressed out and at least gave it a shot?
Yeah, his boy James Harden played the last 2 games with a less than 100% hamstring, and he was not so great, but he was out there giving his team his all. Kyrie rolled his ankle in the first game of the series, and now it's Game 7. You can't give your team 5 minutes. I mean, with elimination on the line, and I understand, you want to protect your body. You're a professional athlete, but you're facing 4 months off. If you lose. So what's the difference?
Yeah, Kyrie is. Let me see. I was pulling for the Bucks in that game. I'm not a Kyrie or a Harden guy. I don't like those guys. So not disappointed that they didn't win. But I agree with you. I think I would have had to at least give them a shot. at least be prepared. Like, I'm willing to. If you need me, I will go out there. And like you said, Joe, the difference, Kevin Durant had no legs in that overtime, none, and you could see his shots, man. I mean, he was leaving the shots a little short. In the overtime, the Nets scored 1 bucket, and the Bucks scored two buckets and 2 free throws. So that shows you that they were all tired, and the difference could have been if he could have gave him a break. At some point, he may have had a little bit more legs to take one more shot, but he didn't. But it doesn't surprise me that Kyrie did that. He still thinks the Earth's flat, so that we'll leave it at that. One other topic I want to get to, and you'll enjoy this conversation. We'll have it on the other side, Joe. Is Najee Harris is being told, take a break, slow down. How often do you have to tell a rookie that? In this coach's career, not very often. It's usually the other way around. Does that set Najee Harris up to become the next great Harris in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization? Najee Harris working like a maniac, being told to take a break. We'll have that conversation as well as get into the autonomous Power 5 conferences and whether or not they should or should not have an automatic bid. That conversation and more coming up next right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Auto Supply, we understand there's nothing worse than a dead battery. So to keep this from happening, be sure you periodically check your battery, including terminal corrosion. If you ever need help, then come by Northport Auto Supply and let our knowledgeable professionals check your battery for free. Northport Auto Supply has the area's largest inventory of batteries in stock. Even in plate for you at no charge. Northport Auto Supply. Wow.
Do you remember a time that you would go to the movie theater and have a blast as a kid? You can pass on the experience to a new generation every Saturday at dusk at Government Plaza. Plaza. We are showing a movie in the park on a 30-plus foot screen. Our next movie is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. We have food vendors on site. This is your chance to bring out the kids and enjoy a family-friendly event, and it's free thanks to our sponsors: Pepsi, Bryant Bank, Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports, Burn Upon Exterminators, the City of Tuscaloosa, and Town Square Media. Join us June 20th at Government Plaza.
The morning can be a beautiful thing. Red granola bar, that is. Take a moment and take in the outdoors with Nature Valley Crunchy Bars.
Pull into Church's today and experience a true original. Bourbon Black Pepper Smokehouse Chicken is back. Peppered and kissed with our bourbon glaze. Only at Church's. Only $5. Church's. Bring down home flavor. Participating location.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy, warm and windy today with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm this afternoon. Daytime high near 86. Better chance of storms tonight. They could be low near 69. Mostly cloudy tomorrow. Showers and storms in the morning, clearing by afternoon with a high of 79. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray on Tide 100.9.
It's 75 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmartdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
All right, Martin, you're hot. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Taco Casa quality, taste, value under the biggest cactus in town. It was a big recruiting weekend for the University of Alabama, and especially for a young man that I mentioned him. He's the grandson of one of my sponsors, Wilkin. Formby is the grandson of the owners of Taco Casa, the Wilkins family. He has had an opportunity to take a picture with Coach Saban, getting some outside of Alabama. Maybe he'll bring a few eyes over to Northridge, and maybe Northridge can get in that list and maybe get a couple to the Crimson Tide. So kudos to Taco Casa and what they do every week. Doing it for 40 plus years, right way, each and every day. Quality, taste, value under the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com. Use them for lunch and dinner today. All right, let's get back into that conversation. Najee Harris is a beast. We saw it here. We heard about his work ethic. It has not changed up in Pittsburgh, but is that a good thing or bad thing? Well, before we get into that, we have Pat who is holding. Pat, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, Martin.
Good morning, sir.
I used to trust Hank South. I thought a whole lot of Hank South, but man, I'm been out of shape with Hank South. That my man, I faithfully kept me down in Mobile, who I thought was locked Alabama on my own self. I was believing too much talking heads, man. All over the country, I was believing talking heads. And Florida coming there and use them damn gator getters to get him. It was a gator getter got him.
Has he signed the papers?
No, it ain't over with. I guarantee you. It's still going after.
So, Pat.
I just wanted. I couldn't help myself with a gator getter. Come on,
Pat. I think I know who you're talking about, but you just come in and start talking. Most people have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, Shamar James.
Yeah, the linebacker, right?
The 6'2", 200-pound. He's really, really fast. I watched him in the States several games, and so I got to see him hang. down in a smaller category, but he actually, once he got up playing against some of the better teams, he was still playing well. So, he is, I think he's legit. But, but there's a lot of difference in his in the SEC too, though.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be able to check with Hank and see what happened there. Sometimes these kids are in love with the first place they go to until the next place they go to, and sometimes they're in love with the last place they go to. I
sure hope that's the deal with JT. His coaches got him for the last show. Coaches got him for the last show this coming weekend. And hey, my man in Huntsville, Alabama, Redstone Arsenal up there, he claims that we're in pretty good shape for JT. Can you imagine if Coach puts the strawberry on top of the icing, what the rest of the talking heads around the country are going to say about his ability to recruit?
Probably same thing they've been saying. Dang, what can we do to stop him?
We got to put in a new rule. Another new rule. Wow.
Yeah. Well,
I'm so excited. But it was a big weekend for recruiting, and I talked to one of the guys from over to the Alabama complex Saturday, and he was saying that this was really the really big weekend, that the hate's pretty much in the barn. And I know that as far as some of these bigger recruits that they're after, but there's a tremendous amount of big time names coming in next weekend, and that's what I didn't quite understand about what he was saying. That reckon one's coming in this weekend that they're pipe dream.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to say. Sometimes what we think is a big get, and there's something. Back to young man that committed to Florida. Maybe Alabama told them they need to see a little bit more before they receive it.
Yeah, could very well be.
And Florida, on the other hand, wanted him right off the bat. So, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like we're talking about all this rain we just got. And a fellow told me one time, he said, God's not going to give you any more than you need. Just our idea of what we need and his idea of what we need sometimes don't jihad.
Yeah.
And I believe that God's going to give you what you need.
Yeah. And that's where Alabama's at that point where they literally can recruit the elite of the elite and then still take the cream of the crop and only take what they need. They don't have to take every 5-star that wants to come or every 4-star that wants to come. They literally are in on virtually every player, Pat. So that's part of it. You wonder how many other guys out there that Nick Saban's in, that he may have told that young man, hey, we're gonna have to wait and see till we get everybody in. And isn't he an outside linebacker? Is he an outside linebacker?
Well, I think he's an inside backer. Where he's playing at, he plays on the inside.
But I think he's being recruited as an outside because he's kind of long. Outside. So he's 6.
Yeah, well, he's not that heavy.
Right.
I mean, we like 220 pounds versus 200 for a linebacker.
Right. So.
And but one of the things that I sure hope that I think Curtis Perry was on campus this weekend out of Montgomery, and that more young man's got video numbers that as far as his sacks and stuff go, he's not that heavy. He's not 6'5". He's 6'3", and probably closer to 6'2". But he's quick and quick. You can have an interior lineman that's really quick, and if he can get that first step, a lot of times he has the ability to get through there. And if they don't have a fullback like Mr. Houston, that hey, we can get that sack.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting excited about being able to get Curtis Perry to get a class.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, appreciate you, Pat.
Sir, thank you.
Virgil Williams asking about Arch Manning. I'll not a lot coming out. A lot more was being talked about him coming in than been talked about when he's coming out. We'll see if we can get a little update for you there. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get to Robert from Mobile. Robert, you're in with the Martin Hughes Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, man.
Hey, now.
Hey, it's not really surprising that Najee Harris is returning to a workhorse for the Steelers, and I think he could be a great face for the franchise as well, with his personality. And so it's really great to see. I remember with joking with my brother, all the Alabama players, we said, I guess Steelers uniform, and we see the Mark Cooper in the Steelers uniform, but when they were playing with Alabama, that's all the big ones. This is the first one where the Steelers are actually smart enough to finally draft. I'm still angry over not getting Derrick Henry when the opportunity was there, and I think they are too.
Right. Yeah.
But no surprise with Najee.
Well, I don't know if they literally let me see if I can. Here's the coach. Here's Coach Faulkner, the running back coach. I'm working all the draft process is he also has to learn how to give himself breaks. He works his butt off, and sometimes it's a reward like, hey, man, go home, relax, watch TV, do something different than football. And so with him being that kind of guy, he is so engaged and always after it, always wants to do drills, develop, trying to teach him. Sometimes you take a deep breath. Most of the time, when I go back through my career, you encourage guys like, hey, man, come in, get extra, come in, do extra work, etc. Have not had to have that one single conversation with Najee in that regard because he's always soaking it up and wanting it so that's the dream I want. So, the Steelers have been at best below average and almost mediocre in the running game. They've not been in the top 10. I didn't realize it had been this long. Even with what's his name in terms of rushing, they didn't have it. But 2007 was the last time they had a top 10 rushing offense. Now you have to think with Le'Veon Bell, they had a very, very explosive offense because of what he brought to the receiving. Najee brings some of that, but Willie Parker's the last guy that they had when they were in the top 10, and he had 3 straight thousands. I think Najee can get them back there, Robert, rushing and as a part of the receiving game.
Yeah, I think at least Derrick has been in the league for almost 5 years, something like that.
Yeah,
I really believe there was at least 1 year he could have carried us to a Super Bowl victory. And with the Roethlisberger, complimenting Roethlisberger the way if they had been smart enough to draft him, like my brother and I told him to when we were screaming at well, hey, you asked a question about should the Power 5 team get an automatic bid. It's either give them an automatic bid or get rid of conference champs altogether. I mean, they'll be so meaningless at that point, so it just will not be worth playing.
Well, but
there should be some reward for being a Power 5 champion. If they're not, then get rid of them.
Well, let me ask you this. But with there being 6 conference champions that's gonna get in every year, why would a Power 5 conference be worried about being higher ranked than the American Athletic Conference or the Sun Belt Conference or the MAC Conference?
Why would they worry about being highly ranked?
Higher ranked.
Well, they probably wouldn't, and maybe they probably won't play the conference championship. That's their problem.
What I'm saying is, Robert.
Power 5.
What I'm saying is 6 conference champions. 6 conference champions will get in every single year. 6 conference champions. You just don't have a guarantee. But the Pac-12 would have to be ranked behind 2 other conferences, like Sun Belt, American Athletic, the Mountain West. I don't know if
Like
they're
they were this past year, Martin, when they were behind Cincinnati and Coastal Carolina.
right. So they would have to be ranked there. And if you're ranked that low, you don't deserve to be in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought so. The conference, so the 6 conference champions get in regardless, right?
Six of the Division I conference champions get in. Not the Power 5. All of the conference champions.
Okay.
The highest ranked, the 6 highest ranked conference champions will automatically be in.
And if you don't, and if you're not in the top 6, you don't deserve to be in.
Like, okay, I can agree with that.
You see what I'm saying?
With a bye, with automatically, you're saying, because they're gonna get in just automatically.
Right. It's just, and if you're not, like this year, as Joe, it was Oregon, right?
Right. Okay. So Oregon was behind Coastal Carolina and Cincinnati, and so they were out. The Pac-12 would not have been represented in this past year's playoff because the 6 highest ranked conference champions were Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Clemson, then Cincinnati, and then Coastal Carolina. So those were your 6. Those would have been automatic qualifiers.
Right.
Other remaining 6 large bids, and the Pac-12 would not. Their highest ranked team was ranked 25th with Oregon, so they would have been left out.
And
I got you.
And their outgoing commissioner is saying we should have been ranked. We should get an automatic bid as the 25th ranked team. So and what that does, conference championship, they don't have a guarantee, and I like that. I mean, it's a merit based system, and I'll get. So and several other guys are coming out. Other conferences are coming out. I'll read what they had to say on the other side. You got anything else for us?
No, okay. I just misunderstood the premise of the question, but no, okay. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It'll be a rare thing that the Pac-12 is so awful that they won't have a chance to make a playoff at all with 12 teams.
Right.
But the chance should be out there. You share it, right? It's still part of earning your way in. You know what always keep bugging me about this, about people who don't want this 12-team playoff, is the games of the playoff I agree with, but the idea that that these teams don't have a chance, and so we're just telling them they don't have a chance. We're going to give you a chance because we know you won't win, or we know you can't compete. That just strikes me as so highly arrogant. Okay, that's the ugly arrogance that a lot of these conferences hate about the SEC and others. That you're going to just tell us we're not good enough without you. Okay, make me prove I'm not good enough.
Right.
Don't tell me I'm not good enough and don't give me a chance.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right, and if I'm not good enough, and I'm never going to be good enough, divide me up and separate me from, and put me in the level of where I can compete. That's the way I look at it. But I would split. Like I said, I've said it numerous times. I would split FBS into 2 different conferences, and a legit thing on that side. So thanks. We'll come back on the other side. We'll continue the conversation right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no wrecks as we start on Monday morning. Traffic pretty light. Of course, if you do see conditions throughout the day, just give us a call, 205-886-8886. Now's the time to drive home in a brand new Nissan from Townsend Nissan, your hometown dealer, and get top dollar for your trade. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow. Using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
And Pearl River Resort and Casinos roll in a player and drive out a winner this June. You could cruise into the summer in a brand new SUV. Visit every Friday and Saturday in June, where one lucky winner each hour will win $300 bonus bet each week, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. But we're not stopping there. On Saturdays, June 12th and June 26th, one lucky winner each night will drive away in a brand new 2022 Toyota Highlander. Cruise into summer in a brand new SUV this June, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos, Pearl River Resort Properties. Must be 21 to gamble.
This is a big deal. Now at healthcare.gov, millions more people can get affordable health coverage. Due to the COVID relief law, 4 out of 5 customers can get a plan for under $10 a month with financial help. From doctor visits to preventive services to prescription drugs, these are quality plans. You can do this. You can have coverage as soon as July 1st if you sign up now at healthcare.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our Pep Talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Martin Hot 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Pac-12. Pac-12. Joe, does this make the Pac-12 look even worse when their outgoing commissioner as well as the incoming guy are both on record before there's even a thing out there already trying to position themselves to get an automatic bid when no other conference has spoken up or said anything in regards to that, and not one of them has come out in support of that statement as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes. I mean, come on, Pac-12. We've already guaranteed 6 conference champions are going to get an automatic bid.
Right.
You can't tell me you're going to be one of those 6 teams. And then not only that, okay, let's say you don't get that automatic bid. Let's say there are 6 conference champions that are ranked higher than your champion. You can't tell me that you've got your conference champion can't become one at large bids as well. So there's plenty of avenues for the Pac-12 to take off and to get into this playoff. They shouldn't need to be clamoring for an automatic bid.
Yeah, that's what's interesting is if you're in the Power 5 and you can't get in with the you can't get in as one of the conference champions, and then you're not ranked. Let's say the 6 conference champions are 1 through 6. Then you would make this potentially that the next 6 teams would be you're not in the top 12. Should you think you should be in the playoffs? I mean, it's sad. It really looks bad. And the Sun Belt commissioner, of course, came out hard and against Keith Gill came out, said The Sun Belt Conference supports college football playoff expansion, including the working group's recommendation to have 6 highest-ranked conference champions in the field. Gill said playoff spots should be earned and not given. Under the proposed system, if you're a deserving team, you should have no concerns of being left out of the playoffs. I look forward to continuing the conversation regarding this. So he's pretty much he didn't come out directly and call him out, but he pretty much called him out, saying if you're worried about making the playoffs as a as a Power 5 team, and you're not going to be in with this arrangement, you don't deserve to be in there. And Aaron Torres, who's on Tide 100.9 on different stations, I know he joins Ryan quite often. He says, I live in Pac-12 country, tweeted this out, and the mindset that has them complaining about no auto bids for the college football playoffs when they will earn one virtually every season, in parentheses, is why they've fallen so far behind the other conference. They're a Power 5. They're a Power 5 that carries themselves like a G5. Whoo! And that's pretty heated. And if in case you're wondering, this is what Larry Scott, the outgoing commissioner, said. The Pac-12 supports expansion of the college football playoffs and believes that the Autonomy 5 champions, which is the Power 5, should annually qualify for a college football playoff. We greatly appreciate the work of the CFB subcommittee, as well as the thoughtful and productive discussions amongst the management week in Chicago. We now look forward to reviewing the expansion proposal more thoroughly with our members, student athletes, partners, stakeholders. Come on, dude. If you can't get in with the arrangement now, you don't deserve to be in there. I mean, could you imagine a Power 5 conference champion that was ranked?
Year now were hindered. They were hindered due to not playing a full season with them playing just the Pac-12 schedule only. But you got to imagine by playing a full season and playing in the Power 5 that you're going to get one of those automatic bids. You just have to.
Yeah.
You think about USC. You think about these name programs, Washington, Oregon. Washington's been in the playoff before. So you have to have a college football playoff where you have to assume if you're a Power 5, if you're a big boy, just act like it.
And that's what Aaron Torres said is that's the reason the Pac-12 is behind the other conferences, because they, I guess it was an insult to the Pac-12 and the group of 5. That he had the situation where they are acting like a group of 5. So I guess he insulted both the group of 5 and the Pac-12 at once. Curtis Moore asked a question that I want to clarify. He said, is it regardless of record? For example, would a 7-5 Pitt get in if they win the ACC championship over a 12-0 Clemson team?
Yes.
They would if they happen to be one of the top 5 highest ranked. But where would a 7-5 team most likely be ranked?
Oh, you're exactly right there. Probably 23, 18, somewhere in that range. You're exactly right. It would depend on how they stack up against the other conference champions.
And that kind of prevents what you and I were a little bit concerned about, is that you go into that conference championship, and that conference championship ends up upsetting a team that's 1, 2, 3, 4 ranked. And then that conference champion is 7-5, chances are they're probably not going to be ranked high. And so it kind of eliminates that scenario of a really bad conference champion getting in, unless Joe, you have a bunch of bad conference champions.
Everybody could pull for an upset, and you get 4 or 5 upsets in conference championship games. That'd be wild.
Yeah, but the other side of that is that 12-0 Clemson team would still get in.
And I like that. I think that's a good thing.
I agree. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. That would be one of the in that scenario. The chances are 12-0 Clemson's going to be a top 4 college football playoff ranked team anyway. If they lose, they're going to fall. Even if they get beat by a 7-5 team, they're not going to fall out of the top 12 teams. In my opinion. And in likelihood that 7-5 team doesn't jump above all the other conference champions either. So I think that it seems like they did their homework in terms of whether it's going to lead to a lot of great games. I think I think what you're going to have, Joe, is I think these earlier round games may be more competitive and we're going to still end up with the same scenario when you get to the Final Four, Joe. Those teams are going to still probably be elite, and you're going to have 1 or 2 of those teams that's going to win it. But it may create some more competitive games in the 5 versus 12 and 11 and 7 versus 10. That 8 and 9. I think you may see some more competitive games coming out of that bracket, and where you're more likely to have some upsets and some surprises than you are when you get down to the Final Four. A lot of the Final Four is going to be the big boys waiting on that next level of play. But hey, get in, you get a chance, and you can't win unless you're in. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But that part, Curtis, 7-5 Pitt would most likely not get in. And losing Clemson team sitting at 12-1 would probably still get in and have a chance to go on and win a national title. And that's what I like, Joe. You don't have to be perfect if you've been good all year. You may have to you have to be perfect down the stretch, but you may not have to be perfect to get in. And that's how champions are won. Only one team in the NFL has ever gone through a perfect. And so a lot of champions have lost somewhere along the way. And now college football is going to create an opportunity where a champion could come from a team that maybe lost late, even as late as their conference championship. They could still win the whole thing if this passes as is. Another touching on this edition of the Martin Houston Show. You're listening to Tide 100.9.
From the Town Square Media News Center, Mayor Walt Maddox of Tuscaloosa has issued a water conservation emergency due to damage. To learn more about the mayor's conservation,
Houston with the Martin Houston Show. And I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing LLC.
Fear, guilt, indecision. These raw feelings are common when users witness an opioid overdose. As a bystander, fear and indecision may race through your mind, but it's vital that you call for help. Alabama's Good Samaritan Law protects those who act in good faith in situations like an opioid overdose. Find out more about Alabama's Good Samaritan Law at VitalAlabama.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
For full-service auto and truck repair, take it to Norris Automotive. The factory-trained technicians at Norris Automotive can handle all major and minor repairs, including air conditioners and heater diagnostics, front-end alignment, electrical and computer systems, brake service, alternators, starters, water pumps, and engine rebuilding. Norris Automotive also offers fleet service and inspections. Trust the pros at Norris Automotive for your auto and truck repair. Norris Automotive, 919 31st Street, just off 10th Avenue.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100 app.
All right, Martin, you're hot. 3, 2, 1.
All right. Well, that brings us to the beginning of the fourth quarter. Not a lot of time left in the earlier there was questions about Arch Manning visiting. Just not a lot coming out right now. I haven't seen a lot other than that he was in town here and enjoyed his visit. Joe, do you have any additional details in terms of Arch Manning being in town?
I saw a little bit of it on his social media that, just I saw a couple social media clips of him enjoying his time, but nothing really definitive. Just a smile here and a photo there. Nothing really definitive.
That's all I had seen as well. So I didn't know if there was, I kind of tried to scour the internet and didn't see a whole lot there. You gave a shout out to Alabama, Najee Harris, and him being told that he needs to take a breath. Well, Christian Barmore press conference contained the words learning, working, and or both words. Barmore, of course, the second round draft pick of the New England Patriots, even though was disappointed not to be a first round, he was the first D lineman taken. And there's a lot of guys at that, at Detroit, but at New England. But he said he's learning from a lot of the guys and going to have an opportunity to play. And I'm still learning, really here, just working, just doing what I got to do, being on time, and just like practicing from everybody. And one of the reasons he's emphasis on working and learning is that was part of what they said he had a problem with at Alabama, that he didn't necessarily approach practice and the learning side of the game and leaned on athletic a lot at Alabama. That you and I have talked about this a little bit, Joe. It's always hard for me to say he slipped, right? When no other guy was drafted. You know what I mean? Like slip, or did everybody else just say, because they got it right, first defensive lineman taken. No one took a defensive lineman to the second round.
Yeah, the NFL teams collectively evaluated the position and kind of made the determination that defensive line was not as highly valued and highly, not as loaded this past year. So just as what happens with running backs, sometimes the position, slides down in value, and so it really isn't Barmore.
Yeah, and and as I wrap up things as we get ready to close out, when you look at the New England Patriots, they actually traded 3 draft choices to be in that position at number 38 when they drafted him. So hopefully Barmore is able to get things done and taken care of in terms of making it out onto the field. Want to encourage you to come back tomorrow at 6 a.m. right here on the Martin Houston Show. We'll be talking with DC Capstone Report. He'll join us, and we'll be breaking down the same topics we talked about today. I was looking into new ones. I got a question. I haven't asked it yet, but I'm going to see. Go ahead and throw it out there. I may or may not do this week, but when you see that script day, I want you to start thinking about it. When you see that script day, what player comes to mind? What's the first player? Who's the first player? Not who's your favorite player, but when you have that script day, who's the player that comes to mind? We may toss that out there for you to think about and let you respond to. But until then, the Martin Houston Show, 6 to 7 a.m., Monday through Friday, right here on your home for Alabama Sports Tide 100.9. We'll see you on tomorrow. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, always acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide. For Martin Houston, for Joe Gaither, for all of the chatters and viewers on the Martin Houston Show, we say Roll Tide and catch you on the flip side.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Jim.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.